Witching Hour is back on the air, and I don't know if you know this, Vikki, but happy 1 year anniversary of being on part of the Horrific Network.
Really?
Really.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But,
you scared me. Like choking over.
Yeah, man, the first time that you came on, beginning of February, a year ago.
Aw. You seriously caught me off guard because we were talking for 10 minutes before you started the episode and you didn't say that. I was like, what? What's happening?
But anyway, man, the Witching Hour is back on the air, and I went to good old YouTube to find this song to be able to play. Because bringing back the angry rant the other day, the acapella angry rant didn't have the emotion that my backup group for this one brings to the table.
Oh my god.
So,
that's amazing.
This week's Fuck You goes to all internet trolls in a very vague general sense. Fuck all of you. But what I'm about to say is directed towards one very specific internet troll on Reddit.
Uh-oh.
This is Reddit user name Grim Grinning Ghosts.
Oh god.
Like the Haunted Mansion at Disney. Grim Grinning Ghosts is this guy's username, and I encourage you to go look him up and fuck with them. So, it has been in the works for a while as the Horrific Network has expanded that I can go ahead and let it out of the bag that the Horrific Nation thing is going to launch at some time in 2016, which is going to be a website that helps promote not only podcasts, filmmakers, but artists like our very own Vikki Sin. But on top of that, I thought it would be cool, since Disney has my soul, to branch out with another friend of mine who is dying to do the podcasting thing, but horror isn't necessarily her MO. And my buddy Nicole and I, we talked about doing like a monthly or maybe even just a bi-monthly Disney podcast. I said, that's cool. And the guys at Horror by Proxy are drawing up logos and stuff for it, and everything's a go. So I go on the Disney subreddit and say, hey, what would you want to hear on a Disney podcast? And that leads us to the exchange with Mr. Grim Grinning Ghosts. This fucking asshole comes on and just proceeds to blast the fact that another Disney podcast is in the works. And who are you?
Oh my God.
And what the fuck? And blah, blah, blah. And to my chagrin, he fucking sucked me in. I don't know what it was about this guy that I felt the need to try to defend myself. Because who the fuck is he? And he doesn't know who I am. But I get into this exchange with this dude, and then finally, I pretty much tell him to go fuck himself. And this morning I was over it, whatever. This guy types in again, and he's like, "Oh, your lack of response obviously proves my point." And I'm like, Jesus, bro, give it a rest. To which he responds, "Oh, what do you have a problem? Do we have a problem here?" And then I ranted, I told him, buddy, let's take a step back here, and I'm gonna go ahead and this will be the last thing I say to you, since you are convinced, I'm convinced that your MO is to get the last word. So no matter what I say, you're gonna type something and try to just keep it going. So this is goodbye from me. So you go ahead and you fantasize that your real world life is better than mine, and fuck yourself was pretty much what I said without saying fuck yourself. And keep in mind, this is on a Disney subreddit that this guy is infiltrating to. So then the kids are testing as we're teaching at work today. I'm like, I don't know what I gotta do. Today's gonna be a drag. So yeah, I've Reddit stalked this guy, and turns out he got into an exchange with some other guy, and he was like pulling up pictures of this other user that had posted from like 3 years ago and quoting him. To put an end to this, because I've given him too much time already, this dude is probably one of the biggest douchebags. If you go look up Make Love Not Warcraft South Park episode, and you see the dude that they are battling in the form of Warcraft, where he's just got a big ass bottle of lotion, and he's like 400 pounds, and he doesn't move from his fucking computer. This is what I imagine this guy to be like. So, user Grim Gin Ghosts, from myself, ICP, everybody at the Horrific Network, go fuck yourself. And if that Disney podcast does come to fruition, even though it's a Disney podcast, on the very first episode, I will take time to tell you to fuck yourself on that one too.
I want you to know that it makes me really happy that you get into fights with people on Disney subreddit.
Dude, and I was like halfway through, like on almost every fucking thing I was typing, I was like, the inner Jimmy is like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you giving this guy the satisfaction? All he wants is for you to continue to get upset. And and the outer Jimmy was just like, I know, but he's fucking pissing me off.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. It really is. Like, you really want to say something, but then it's like, well, it doesn't really matter. But then it's like, but any opportunity to tell anyone that they're being stupid seems like a good idea. It's a slippery slope.
And that's all that Reddit really truly is it's like 90% the response to shit people post anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I was like, dude, like how sad is your life that out of all the fucking sub things that you can do, I mean, Reddit is fucking infinitive. There's fucking sub forums for people just like that guy that all they want to do is troll. They're in the fact that he took the time to find a post on a Disney subreddit. I mean, he is the worst kind of person. He's the kind of person that yells at his kid in the hot sun at Disney Park. And you're like, why the fuck did you even bother kind of... If he would breed with someone, which I doubt.
I mean, I hope not. I can't imagine having the time to do any of that. Like, I always have so much to do. It's like, I would never have a spare even 5 minutes to be like, I'm going to go on the internet and just argue with strangers. That's like what I want to do right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that at all. And seriously, how many millions and billions of well, maybe not billions, but I mean, how many podcasts are out there? Like, chill the fuck out, dude.
Yeah. There's millions upon millions of podcasts, so what's one more? Yeah. But,
yours will be better.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. But one that's better than most in the horror community is the witching hour. So let's get to it. The last stop, we were at Edgar Allan Poe's grave, and this week we are at one of my favorite places to go to because it's only like an hour away from where I live, and that is the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh, I want to go there. Wait, where is it?
San Jose.
San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's why I was watching an Anthony Jeselnik stand-up special on Netflix last night because he's amazing. And he was in San Francisco, but he said something about who here has a gun, and everyone that clapped, he said, San Jose must be in the house. And I was like, oh, they must have a lot of guns. So that's...
Yeah, there's a lot of guns. There's a lot of guns in San Jose. There's very high, like Norteño, Sereno, I don't know what the hell they are, population.
Okay.
They may be both. I don't know. It's very Hispanic. Like if you go downtown, the population very Hispanic in San Jose.
Yeah, but there's good food there.
There is good food there. I mean, it's a trip because they have like the business districts, and then they have the college district, and yeah, they have the stadium area, which is like white people central. It's very,
oh my God,
very diverse mix of little neighborhoods, but the biggest population, I would say, is Hispanic.
I would say that Portland is white people central. Notice that.
Well, yeah, it's cold.
Yeah. This is going down a dark alleyway here.
Hey, man,
All of a sudden.
we did the round table thing, and I got blasted for saying that Oscar Isaac sounded like a Jew in the movie Ex Machina. And all I was trying to say is the guy was talking like he was Jewish. And I said, would it be better if I said he sounded like a rabbi? And I got like a resounding yes for that. So apparently, I'm not really sure where I was going. The whole cold thing. But yeah, come on, that's not racist. That's just a well-known fact. The minorities...
Pointing out obvious things.
Well, yeah, the minorities don't like the cold. That's why everyone goes batshit fucking crazy when there's a black hockey player.
There's black hockey players?
Exactly. That's the reaction most people give when there's a fucking black hockey player. San Jose has one now.
Huh. Shit. You learn something new every day.
Well, yeah, don't get like a circus freak reaction to him, but yeah, he's there. He's on the team.
I mean, I think that's probably would make it very interesting if there was like, I don't know, like football meets like hockey, because that just made me think of football players. There's a lot of black football players, let's be honest. So, I mean,
right.
You know,
and tennis
maybe
players.
Maybe they'll get like more popular now.
Tennis players, you know? Tennis players.
Tennis, yeah. I mean,
even golfers.
Really, you know what? I want to get into soccer, and like Portland has this Portland Timbers soccer team because like everything here is like really like white suburban dad. Like the things that are popular here are like white suburban dad things, you know.
Nice.
Like we have a cider festival going on right now because everyone drinks cider, and then the soccer team is like super popular. It's like soccer and like alcoholic cider and stuff. So I was thinking, because I'm mad at the NFL, that possibly I might get into soccer.
Why are you mad at the NFL?
Because I was a Steelers fan, and I'm a big advocate of dogs in general. I'm just a dog advocate. And they brought on Michael Vick, so I couldn't be. I'm like a lifelong, like my whole family is like a lifelong Steelers fan. My father had like this epic, fucking enraged meltdown when Vick came on the team. So like we swore off the Steelers. He was gonna like burn all his shirts, whatever. So ever since then, I just can't get back into it.
Let me ask you this: would it have been a bigger deal? Is it a bigger deal that they signed him, or is it a bigger deal that he actually played in a game?
It's a bigger deal that he's allowed to, like, be a person.
So it's a bigger deal that he's even, like, in the league whatsoever, regardless of the team.
Yeah, like, because he's, like, an awful, awful human being.
No, I do think that Michael Vick is a piece of shit. I will agree with you.
Yeah, I would say things how I feel about it, but you can imagine for how much I like serial killers, what I think should happen. But I just think, I think it's, like it just makes my blood boil. So I hated the Philadelphia Eagles just because, like, they had Vic and Philadelphia, like, whatever. So I hated the Eagles, and I was, like, super against the Eagles, and I would, like, hiss at the stadium when I drove by it. It was, like, just this awful thing. And then he ends up going to the Steelers. So I swore off the NFL because it's crooked as shit anyway. It's just full of drama. It's just drama. It's a bunch of fucking drama. So now that I'm in Portland and we have a soccer team, I'm like, maybe I'm going to get into soccer. Because, I mean, I think that's like a real man sport, like, kind of. Because it's old school. You know, it's been around forever. People seem like it's not a bunch of crybaby bullshit and, like, sponsored assholes and shit like that. So,
right.
You know, yeah. I don't know what happened there.
Our rugby's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, rugby. I mean, there's there's a lot of hot rugby players. I can get into that. So I mean,
it's just not very. Soccer. It's just not very available.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm sure. I don't even know if there's rugby teams in Portland because the guys here are kind of like. I don't know if they're tough enough to play rugby, but. I'll look into that. I'm just going to, like, insult Portland all night. I don't mean to insult Portland. But I'm just saying, a lot of people drink cider and like soccer and wouldn't be cut out to play rugby in closing.
Well, all right. We're off to a smoking start on this episode.
I don't even know what happened. You had an angry rant, and then you just set me off about
Michael
soccer
Vick
and stuff. Yeah, it's weird, yeah.
And just to clarify, I don't hate Michael Vick because he's black. I hate him because he's a fucking piece of shit.
Oh my god. Yeah, there was a lot of people in the league that just did not want him there. Like, people like dogs, man.
There's lots of minorities in my movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up.
What were we talking about? Winchester Mansion?
Yeah.
Wait, how did that spiral into guns and minorities and why Portland is full of guys that can't be tough enough for rugby? I don't know, but...
Because the Winchester Mystery Mansion is in San Jose, California. Oh, God, help us. So, there is something of the awful House of Usher about it, one journalist wrote of the Winchester Mystery House after it first opened to the public in San Jose, California in 1923. I, for one, would tremendously like to give a Halloween party in this old home. The rumors about the maze-like Victorian mansion started soon after its eccentric owner, Sarah Winchester, began her elaborately ideal-centric construction, and they continue...
Wow!
Oh,
good job!
I know. And they continue to this day, fueled in part by the guides who lead tourists through the bizarre structures, odd nooks and crannies, past doors that open into walls and up staircases that go to nowhere. There are now 160 rooms, 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 stairways, 47 fireplaces, 13 bathrooms, and 6 kitchens. Tourists are warned against wandering off. They could be lost for hours.
It'll be so much fun.
It's really cool. It is like something. The best way to describe would be like almost something out of like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, like that would be amazing. I would just go down there and like smoke a little bit and be like, just let me go. I'm just gonna be in here for a while.
The story goes after losing both her only child and her husband in New England, Winchester, the heiress to the repeating arms company fortune, consulted a Boston psychic. He told her that her family was cursed by the souls of American Indians and Civil War soldiers, among them who had been killed by the Winchester rifle. The gun that won the West, the only way to placate these restless spirits was to build a rambling house for them to inhabit. Winchester moved to California, where she bought an unfinished farmhouse in 1886. For the next 38 years, she renovated and rebuilt her home, reportedly hiring construction workers to work around the clock as long as the hammering continued. The rumor went she could stay alive. One of the cool things, I don't know if it'll get here in this article, but one of the things they talk about too is this house is not only supposedly haunted by those restless spirits, it's also haunted by the spirits of the people that died working on the house.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. The truth, however, is somewhat more complicated. Known in her youth as the Belle of New Haven, Winchester was later crippled with arthritis and, having lost her fabled looks, rarely ventured outside. Her obsessive need for privacy and refusal to speak publicly allowed yellow journalists and nosy neighbors to say anything they wanted about her with impunity, and of course they did. But the fact remains that visitors and staff alike claim to hear footsteps and breathing, see apparitions from other eras, find locked doors suddenly open, and even smell chicken soup. In the end, the 1920s journalist was not far off when she compared the eerie structure to the House of Usher. Like Poe's melancholy domicile, the Winchester place remains a mystery and insolvable. My dad and I went a couple of years back, and they have like a tour that's like the upgraded tour where they let you go underneath the house and go into some rooms that they don't for the normal tour. And the guy reportedly had said right before us that it sounded like when he was in one of the bedrooms that a window just like smashed open. And he said it sounded like it was coming from like where the front door is. So he went there and everything was fine. And then he went back up to his tour group, took back over the group, and when they made their way back downstairs, there was a big rock and broken glass all over the place.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's true or not, because it didn't happen when we were there, but that would be pretty creepy.
Yeah. I mean, I would really like to see the place. I didn't even notice.
It
I
has.
didn't even realize.
It definitely. I've been 2 places in my life that when people talk about the energy in a room feels different. I've been 2 places that have done that to me. One is the churchyard where William Shakespeare was buried. You have people who are like buried for thousands of years. It's a trip to see gravestones that are like 1300s and then all the way up to 1800s, and moss is over the top of them. And you walk through that mausoleum and you can feel, it almost feels heavy. And that same feeling is inside some of the rooms when you walk through that that house. Her seance room when she used to conjure and supposedly talk to the ghost to get the next building plans of what they wanted her to build is a trippy trippy feeling room, and her bedroom is very, very, very creepy. If there was a room where I would freak out the most seeing something in that house, it'd probably be her bedroom because it's completely restored to like Victorian era, and some of the staff members had said that they had seen her walk across the doorway, or they had seen her like standing over by her bed or in the rocking chair. That would be pretty fucking scary.
Yeah. Huh.
And then again, some of the other stories they told us were like the workers. Like one guy like fucking like fell off a ladder, and there's a room where it was like set up as a trap. So the house really is more of a maze that she can. So there was good spirits that she would talk to every night, and then there was bad spirits. And the good spirits would say, "Okay, Sarah, you got to build this, and this," and the bad spirits will be left at bay. Is how it goes. So that's why it's like a maze. So she's building the house to confuse the spirits, so the ones that want to harm her can't find her. So there's a room, I want to say it's a kitchen, that you walk into, and the middle of the room has no floor. It's like a 15-foot drop, where this dude's up on a ladder, and he's like doing something for the trim work or what have you towards the top of this room, and the fucking ladder gets knocked over, and the dude falls through the floor the hole in the floor, so he falls like 20 feet and dies.
Wow.
So that guy apparently can be seen. He's got like blue coveralls and a hard hat on. They've said that they have seen him every once in a while.
The hard hat didn't work, huh?
No, you sick bastard, it didn't work. He's very much dead. But yeah, man, if you ever come down to California, we'll have to go. It's not very far.
I would like to go down to California. Warmer down there.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures of Oregon and Washington right now, and I don't want to be there.
Yeah, we're having pretty decent weather. It's actually in the high 50s. Well, not today, but it has been. We don't get snow. We had a freak ice storm, I believe I may have mentioned. But, I mean, the higher elevations have snow. It's really freaky because, I mean, like 20, well, maybe like 40 minutes away, there's like snow on the mountains. Like, it's right there. But, like, we've been having really, like, plants are coming up. It's weird.
Wow.
Yeah. Portland's a nice part of this, what's that? Like a latitude or something? I don't even know what that is. But like, all right, across from us is like generally Pennsylvania or whatever, and they got a lot of snow, and we've been getting like high 50s. It's really strange. I mean, that's kind of why I moved here, because I hate snow. So, works out. But California is a lot warmer, and I definitely want to go and be down there for heat waves.
Yeah, you say that until it's like 115 for 10 days in a row.
I love it.
It's a dry heat, too. It just sucks your soul right on out of you. Up next is New Orleans, but not just any New Orleans, Vikki, otherworldly New Orleans. What major U.S. city advertises rental apartments as haunted or not haunted? As if ghosts were amenities like air conditioning or a 24-hour doorman. If you guess Boston, you're wrong, stupid. We're talking, of course, about New Orleans, Louisiana, where spirited real estate sales are among the many reasons why the port city between Mississippi River and, I'm not going to try to pronounce that lake's name, is considered the most unearthly urban enclave in the United States. How did the Crescent City become a ghost town? Maybe it has something to do with the multicultural mix of spiritual traditions. Native American, French, Spanish, Cajun, and last but not least, Voodoo. religions and Catholicism, or maybe it's the fact that because the water table is so high, tombs called cities of the dead are all built above ground, leaving restless spirits to roam the steamy streets. There's a ghost story on virtually every corner here, from the spirit of a suicide that haunts the Louisiana National Guard Armory to the legend of a voodoo queen, Marie Laveau, interned in St. Louis Cemetery Number 1. Not long ago, a New York magazine editor in the city for a convention crawled into her hotel bed one night and immediately felt the presence of a man beside her. When he wrapped his arms around her, she was too terrified to scream and stayed awake in his arms until sunrise, when he vanished. Tell me that wouldn't be pretty fucking creepy.
Really?
Maybe hotels here should take a cue from rentals advertising haunted and unhaunted rooms along with the continental breakfast. New Orleans is definitely on my bucket list to go to one day.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of moving there because it's warm and shit. But it's supposed to be, like, I just saw an article on Facebook that it's actually not safe there at all. It's becoming, like, really bad. So
no, yeah, it's like the new Detroit.
Yeah, which is not what you want to be labeled, really. So, but I would love to visit it, and now I'm just hungry for Cajun food. Like, really bad.
Yeah, the to be labeled the new Detroit, I would say, is pretty much a big goddamn slap in the face. Because I don't.
The lowest thing you could call any city in the U.S. Like, you're the new Detroit, and they're like, oh shit, don't tell anyone that. Awful.
I read a thing about Detroit that this dude bought like a fucking subdivision and turned it into a zombie paintball park.
That would make sense. I was in Detroit once for Halloween to see ICP, and it was just really surreal. It's like a fucking ghost town downtown. There's just all these empty buildings, and it's very sad. It's got this real. See, if New Orleans is going to be the new Detroit, then maybe Detroit can play on their sadness and be like the new Orleans and be like, well, everything's haunted now. And then they can draw in all the people that like that stuff.
Well, yeah, everything is haunted because there's no fucking people there.
There's ICP. What a selling point for Detroit, really.
Home of the Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing else anymore, but we have ICP.
Yeah, New Orleans, the whole, like, what would attract you more to the New Orleans, the ghost side of things or the voodoo side of things?
I think the voodoo vibe would be really cool. I mean, I'm used to ghosts, granted, but I think it would be really neat to be around the Cajun flavor, if you will. Jimmy. I'm hungry. I'm thinking about Cajun food. Yeah, that's what draws me anywhere. What is the food like?
The Cajun food is like, what is it, jambalaya, like spicy shellfish? That's good.
Chicken, isn't that Cajun? We have like a Cajun thing in the food court at the mall. I'm gonna be going to the mall now, so I can fucking sit in a food court and eat Cajun.
Go get some Cajun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cajun's good stuff.
I think so. I think New Orleans has many selling points with the ghosts and the voodoo and the Cajun food. You know, not the crime. That's not good. But the graveyards, I've heard, are just extremely cool there.
Yeah, the fact that they're all above ground and that they can flood and all that, that's a creepy vibe, too.
Fucking chicken bones and shit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the next episode, because we're banging a couple of these out, we will talk about Vicky's favorite thing of all time, the Salem witch trials. which kind of
My
coincides.
favorite thing of all time.
Which kind of coincides with that movie that I got very high hopes for that comes out next week. So it's all perfect. It's perfect. The Witch comes out next week, where we record a Salem witch trial, and that it coincides perfectly. But yeah. Until then, thank you for listening, and go fuck yourself, Grim Grim Ghost on user on Reddit one last time.
And Michael Vick.
And Michael Vick.
And, and
Why don't
guy
you?
from Reddit.
Yeah, why don't you,
Shitless.
Michael Vick and Grim Grim Ghost, you guys go blow each other or something.
Keep it classy. On the witching hour.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, until next time, go to the Winchester Mystery Mansion.